everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're checking out Oaken. It's a turn-based roguelike that's entering early access today. That's May 3rd, in case you have not viewed your calendar yet. You guys probably know by now I'm a big fan of this art style right off the bat. It's a sort of whimsical fantasy look, softer, kind of painterly tones. It's a bunch of nerdy stuff that you guys probably don't care about, but I love how it looks already. You already know I'm a big fan of turn-based games, so my hopes are pretty high for Oaken. Anytime someone's like, roguelike, turn-based, I'm like, yes, give me that, I want it. So hopefully they deliver here. We're gonna jump in mostly blind. I did the tutorial, which was very good. I'll talk about that in a second. And then we're gonna basically try a run and see how that goes. So, should be fun. Thanks to Goblin Studio, that's Goblins with a Z, for sponsoring the video. I'm going to have links down below for you to peruse at your earliest convenience, but that earliest convenience shall be no earlier than the end of this video. Thanks. So, in terms of story, it's a pretty basic setup. There's a great oak, and there's inhabitants of the great oak that listen to a voice called the Oak Song. That voice is now gone, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. And it's pretty open-ended in terms of lore and story right now. But when I read that, it gives us, they could go anywhere. This is version 0.3.1b, so anything can change. Who knows? So right off the start, we're looking at a couple of things here. I'm not going to go heavily tutorial because I want to get into the gameplay, but just so you guys are aware, this is your main hero. They're the central unit on the board that we're playing. And it looks like at some point in development, we'll get access to another hero. And then we have our sort of guide. And this guide is the one that's going to kind of teach you, provide you some special cards and some special abilities, so on and so forth. Right now, we just have those two. So we'll get into what some of these cards mean when we get into the actual game. You can choose standard or expert. I would recommend starting on standard. Things stack up pretty quickly in terms of effects, so buckle up. All right, so this is very Slay the Spire-esque, except for instead of going down, or instead of going up, as in Slay the Spire, we're going down. But you can kind of pick your path that you think is going to be best for your run. Over here, this is our current modifier. Aya's Spiky Seeds, so enemies on green hexes are going to take damage at the end of your turn. You'll see what that means in a second. This is our hero unit. Our current deck is this. I'm not going to get too deep into what each card is. We also have some different skills that we're able to use every turn. Cultivation, Life Touch, and Piercing Thorn. And one cool little thing here, you can do some crafting to upgrade your cards and stuff. But if you look at this little preview, if you're into this, you can take a close look at each of these units. That's just a neat little touch. Okay, so quick run through the legend here. So the exclamations are events, make a decision to gain various rewards. The leaf is refuge, where you can spend Lumi Dust, remove fatigue, or search for wisps. You'll learn about what each of these things are soon. What might this be? It's a secret. Who knows? It's a battle, so you can gain a card on the flame tiles. An encounter, fight an easy battle to gain a wisp or a Lumi Globe. Here's an elite fight, and then a boss fight near the end. Okay, so I think early on, we probably want to fight an easy battle. That makes the most sense. Let's get in here. So we're going to shooting range. Getting through a territory guarded by Daughters of the Oak without having a few arrows sticking out of the bark may not be possible. Defeat all enemies. Do not let any allies die. Now, this is a bonus objective that gets us bonus rewards, but this is the key. Defeating all the enemies. This is sort of optional, but ideally we don't die. Okay. So, the tutorial, one of the things I really liked about the tutorial is it did like a layered stacking of ideas. So it introduces you to just how to like cast one of your guys onto the hex. It introduced you to this frontal arc. It introduced you to their hit points and their health. And then it introduced you how to move, how to use the special ability. It just did a really nice layering of concepts. And if you would have just dove in here right now, it could be a little bit intimidating if you've never played games like this. So I highly recommend doing the tutorial. And even at this early stage of the game, the tutorial is super solid. So you can choose which drawn cards to replace at the start of each battle. Select the chosen cards and press the button above them to confirm. You can also preview the cards left in your deck at any time. So what would I want to redraw? Let's see. So we've got the Stalker unit. It's got +1/+1 on green tiles, which, as you can see, none of these tiles are green, but one of our abilities lets us make green tiles, and this provides a bunch of bonuses. We also have the spiky seeds, so enemies on green tiles are going to take 1 damage at the end of the turn. So we can use that offensively for us, and, well, offensively in both ways. If the enemy's on it, it's bad, and if we're on it, it's great. So, cool. Impale, deal 4 damage to an enemy in your line of sight. This is really important because your line of sight seems to be just infinite in any of these directions. So it costs 3, it's pretty expensive. This is your Lumi, it's called. This is essentially mana over here. We have another Stalker card, and then we have a Seedling. On Awake, which is basically when you're playing the card, it's going to fill its frontal arc with green tiles. So that seems like a good one to keep. And we probably want to swap, let's say, this one. I don't think I'll swap more than that. So let's swap that out. And we got another Seedling. So that's actually super solid. We can get a bunch of green tiles going right away. Now, this is Aya. This is our helper unit that we mentioned at the beginning. She's very expensive. Can't play her until we get 5 Lumi. And the way that you gain this is every turn, your Lumi refills and then gets increased by 1. So I won't be able to play this for 2 turns. In terms of special abilities in the bottom right, Cultivation creates a green tile. Piercing Thorn, deal damage of 1 in your line of sight. And Life Touch, restore health 2 to yourself or adjacent unit. It does look like the line of sight actually does end at 3. So, good to know. Okay, how do we want to start this? First of all, one thing I need to explain before we dive in. This frontal arc here, this is really important for when you're attacking and taking damage because there's an exchange that happens. Even when you attack, you're going to take damage if you're attacking into your enemy's frontal arc, okay? If you're able to flank your enemy, they don't get damage returned on you. Now, we're pretty tanky. We could theoretically take damage from all of these units and still be alive. However, these guys have the shooter skill, so they can attack any enemy in its line of sight. However, they cannot do that after moving. They can still attack melee after moving, but the idea here is that we want to stay out of their line of sight, force them to move instead of just sitting back and taking pot shots. They also have Outsmart, which when they hit us and don't receive damage back, so either a flank or a ranged shoot attack, then it'll push the target away, so we'll have a harder time getting in to dealing with them. So I'm gonna go here. We're not in line of sight of any of them, and the way you can figure out where you can spawn your units is within 2 tiles of your hero unit. So I can't just spawn units over here. They have to be spawned somewhere close by. Any of these tiles like these, if I were to place here, we're going to be within their line of sight, so I don't love that. This appears to be the only tile where I can really get maximum benefit right now. So I'm going to do this. It's going to place 3 of the green tiles for us, which we can benefit from on our Stalker card, and eventually the spiky seeds, and we'll go from there. Now, I may have wanted to move up, but I wouldn't have been able to place that unit in another spot that isn't in direct line of sight, so yeah. Let's do this. We're gonna move... Yeah, we're gonna move here, so we're not in line of sight either. And then we'll kind of work our way around here and see how these guys operate. I still have 1 Lumi, so I want to make sure I'm playing this every turn. These can be used anytime, these special abilities, and they replenish every turn. Let's do this. We can create a nearby green tile. And what we're kind of doing here is taking advantage of them having to move, and hopefully they're going to end up on some of these green tiles that we create. and they start taking that damage at the end of their turn, and we go from there. So let's end the turn. Hopefully I've explained that clearly enough for you guys. If you're used to these games, that's all pretty simple. This arc may throw you off a little bit, but it's something to learn for sure. Okay, so they've basically decided I'm gonna move here so that I've got line of sight. He cannot attack when he does his move because he's basically setting up. So now I want to come in and probably attack here. Now the problem with that is that this unit will die. They're going to exchange 3 damage. I can't get in close enough for a flank. On some boards, there are modifiers, runes that will be there. And those runes will give you things like haste, or they'll make your guy a little bit stronger. There's a bunch of different effects, but this being the first board, pretty basic and not there. So how do we want to play this? Let's see. What did we draw? We have the seedling again. We have that stalker again. If I put the stalker in, I mean, we don't really just want to get shot by these guys. So I think we will go in for the kill here. We're going to deal 3. They're going to deal 3. And that's pretty much life, I think. So we'll move here and do the attack. 3 damage gets exchanged. Again, if I was able to hit it from a flanked position, then we would only deal the damage. But now we both die. And these shooters are quite powerful because they can just attack without taking retaliatory damage from super far away. So that's something that we got to keep in mind all the time. Now, I want to look for another space to kind of fill the board with as much of the green as I can right now. So I'm looking at maybe moving here, which is, I've got a block set up against this guy. And then if this guy wants to attack, he's going to have to move twice. So let's go here. And then I can summon this in 2 tiles away. I'm not going to get maximum benefit. Oh, I could actually go here. Yeah, this is actually even better. I can go here and get maximum benefit of these 3 tiles. Okay. So I wasn't sure if we had to have line of sight for the summon, but yeah, that's cool. So we can just summon 2 away in any direction all the time. This is in line of sight of this guy, which is problematic, I suppose. Same thing there, same thing there. This would be the only spot I can do it, but you know what? I'm going to do it just so that I can get the extra green on the board, because that'll benefit us in the long term. He will die. This wild daughter will shoot him, and he will die, which is, you know, unfortunate, but that's life sometimes. And then I've got more if I want. I can put a stalker unit, or I can create another green tile. So a stalker unit, let's say I drop a stalker unit here, okay? It's out of line of sight of these 2. It's in line of sight here. But if it gets shot from here, it won't die. Because it's going to have 3 attack and 5 health. Because it's going to be on +1/+1. So that could work for me. Oh, yeah, it's too far away. My bad. We have to summon from there. That's my bad. Yeah. So then if I put it here, I don't want to just take a shot. I don't want to get shot. So I'll tell you what. We're going to create more green. Is that what I should do? I feel like creating green back here is kind of wasted. But putting these in too is kind of wasted. Because they're just going to take damage, you know? We can see what's coming up as well. All right. Okay, I'm going to do this for lack of a more creative option. And let's see. Okay, so he's actually favoring the move. Now that's cool to see. A push unit is forced to move onto an adjacent hex. If blocked, it will collide, and both it and the obstacle will take damage. This was not in the tutorial. I love to see that. Okay, fine. Question is, can I shoot this over? No, my line of sight is blocked, but shooter can shoot over top of its units. Interesting. So I think what I need to do is move here, face this way. We've got 16 health to play with, so I have to do it. We're going to kill off this unit with our Impale card. I've got another Impale for next turn to take down the enemy over here. And then we'll summon in a unit. Let's summon it here. Yes, we're in that kind of same situation that we talked about before, but it's fine. I did fail the objective, not letting one of our guys die, the special objective, but that's fine. That's fine. We're learning. Okay. We also have this. So we can undo any actions of the lastly used unit, which is kind of a nice little safety thing. Now, I don't know if that gets changed, or you can maybe only do that once. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like, no, once you do it, you can be like, nah, I don't like that. Maybe that changes on harder difficulties, too. I think that would be a nice little modifier. And then let's do... What do we want to do? Let's bring them in here. And if they exchange damage, they exchange damage. We're getting boosted, so whatever. Okay, they're actually moving. Now, when this first happened, I was a little confused because it says that shooter ability is disabled after moving. But I think I mentioned it when we saw these units. They can still attack from melee range. So this card has been used once in this battle and is now unstable. If you use it again, it will become unusable for the rest of the chapter. Okay. So, that's new. They did not tell me that in the tutorial. So that means... that's actually crazy. Okay. So that means that you're heavily incentivized to kill the enemies basically as fast as you can without dilly-dallying too much. The more you dilly and the more you dally, the more you have to use cards again. And you'll be forced to do that because you're going to cycle through this deck, right? Interesting. When summoned, deals damage to enemies in its line of sight and creates green tile under them. So I'm looking at moving up here and just impaling, right? But let's summon this in just to kind of do it. We're not going to summon in the... Or we're not going to deal the damage, but... That's fine. Oh, I played... Good one. Good one. Good one. Totally blew that. Because I was thinking I would just do my Impale after, but I just wanted to play the unit to kind of show you guys. Oh, well. That's fine. That's fine. Forget it. I guess we'll move in here. Actually, if I do that, I'm just going to get shot next turn. So I don't really want to do that. Let's do something like this. And since we already moved, we're going to have to tank some damage. That sucks, but that's life. We'll deal damage in our line of sight with one of our special abilities. All right, now notice, if we're up against that edge, it looks like we take that extra damage as well. I didn't catch that when I read that brief description, but good to know. Good to know. So, remember, if we move here, our shooter skill gets disabled, so we can't attack. Had I moved in here, we could do a melee attack, right? But now we're just going to finish this guy off with the Impale card and get it done. Okay. So, victory, we got a little bit of, I think this is Wisp Dust, or Lumi Dust, that we can use to upgrade cards. Choose your rewards. 1 Watchful Wisp with Vigilant. Has an extended frontal arc. So you've seen the frontal arc right now impacting 3 adjacent tiles. So I would assume this impacts like maybe 4. Compliant Wisp. When it dies, it creates a Niblet. Okay. Exhausted cannot be used until being restored by finishing the current chapter. So that seems like it's a pretty strong card, but you're picking it up in the hopes of completing the chapter and using it in a later run. And then Aggressive Wisp, when summoned, gains strength of 2, and it's going to deal more damage with attacks, but removed after attacking. Very interesting. Okay, let's take Watchful Wisp as an extended... Nah, let's take Aggressive Wisp. Seems cool. Let's just pick something cool. We found some Lumi Dust. It can be used to increase stats of units once for each triangle on a card in the deck manager, or to gain new cards and Wisps during a visit in the refuge. You found your first upgrade. Oh, each unit can be enhanced with a single wisp. Okay, so this is not its own card. Spells and skills can be changed to their improved version, but doing so requires using Lumi globes. Okay. Okay. So what would we want to strengthen? Like, it looks like... Okay, so we can't strengthen our helper unit. The seedlings seem pretty solid. They're already 3/3s. When we play it, it's going to get extra strength, so it would technically be a 5/3 until it does its first attack, which is a lot of damage. We could also boost the Stalkers, so they're coming in. Oh, my bad. Hold on. Oh, I see. Okay, fully understand. So, it's also showing the heart, okay? So the heart is giving +1 regardless, but then it's giving that bonus awake of the strength as well. So we're tanking up, but we're also getting the extra damage. Yeah, sweet. So we're going to boost this one. Love that. Love that. Cool. Okay. Lumi Dust can be used to increase stats of units once for each triangle in a card. Once for each triangle. Let's go here. Maybe upgrade. Maybe I need more Lumi Dust as well. Yeah, okay. So these require 12 Lumi Dust, which we don't have. Fair enough. Okay, cool. Let's head on. So this is going to be an event. Dancing Wisps, a rare sight to behold. There are too many rings of swirling wisps here to count. This event is called a Dance of Light, and for as long as the spirits have inhabited the oak, it was performed to supposedly keep the eclipse away. So we have some options. Choose a wisp and receive Lumi Dust. Join them for a while. Spin and sing with the wisp. Become fatigued. Does this tell us what fatigued is? Choose 2 wisps and receive Lumi Dust for 6. Or become fatigued 4 and receive 3 wisps and Lumi Dust 10. I don't really want to become fatigued. Choose a wisp and receive Lumi Dust. Your presence brought the wisp visible happiness. Okay. What's growth? Creates green on being summoned or moving. That's cool. Or reach. Can also be summoned onto any green tile. Oh, neat. So you could summon in something after building that up. Also, this will give an extra damage, extra health. Let's do growth. And let's put that on... The seedling already summons in a bunch, so I assume this also would put it on its own tile then. And then every time it moves, it would put that green down. I think that combos nicely with Stalker, so that means any tile you put the Stalker on or move it to, it's always going to have that +1/+1. The way that I'm understanding growth anyway. So let's see if that's the case. Another event, the Luminati. This time it was you who was found. 3 suspicious spirits are offering you a great reward for giving up part of yourself. Lose a skill to receive 4 Lumi globes. Lose a skill to receive 2 unique wisps. Receive Lumi Dust if we attack the spirits or run away. So getting unique wisps would be cool. Losing one of our skills, I guess. Let's do that and we'll ditch the heal. Let's ditch the life touch. Probably end up regretting that. The gentle healer. Hey, whenever it regains health, it restores an equal amount to nearby allies. Oh, that would have been perfect for the skill that we just got rid of. The lone champion. Receive a +1/+1 whenever an enemy is summoned. And -1/-1 whenever an ally is summoned. Whoa, that's trippy. Okay. Oh, we get both. Okay, yeah, duh. I'm getting too, like, it's exciting. It's fun times. So let's think about this. This is something you'd want to play. Like, you kind of want to play this unit after you've done all your summoning, right? And hopefully you can summon a lot faster than the enemy. This one, it would be good for people that are going to be next to you. So, I mean, kind of tough to say, honestly. Looks like this is going to change their active ability as well. You see that arrow? Gain strength, going to be switched to this. Don't like that. So we could just add, let's just add it to the Stalker. And then let's add this one to the Seedling here. Okay. Let's go into a battle. Stalker's Den. From the smell, the claw marks, and the presence of stalkers, there seems to be a good chance this place is a Stalker Den. Destroy all eclipsed lanterns for a bonus objective. Okay, cool. Let's see what we can do. This is the eclipsed lantern. It's an object. It's going to block the line of sight and is immobile. Cannot attack or gain stats. Okay, but it can do, like, retaliation attacks, right? If I attack... Oh, no, maybe not, because it doesn't even have attack damage. If it's anger, it's going to gain regeneration. Regains health at the start of its turn, reduced after triggering. Fills the adjacent area with purple at the end of its turn. So this is always going to be purple tiles, I guess. Now these guys, these wild stalkers, you can see these are, I think this is purple already. Yeah, so this is +3. So it's 5 and 3 right now. And when it's played, it becomes hastened. So it gets an extra move. So double, or a double move and then attack. So Wild Stalker there as well. These are little collections we can grab. And then the burrows are what summon the enemies in. 10 enemies to fight. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit more of a challenge. The question is this a trap? Like, do I care about this? I'm only going to care about this creating the purple tiles when this starts spawning in stalkers right next to it. You know what I'm saying? You need to... Oh, yeah. Sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. Do I want to swap any of these? I think we're good. The only other cards in here that I have... no, I think we're fine. Because everything costs 2 or 3, so I can only play 1 card right away. Now, if I'm going to move over to here to grab this Lumi Dust, right? Oh, I saw a fatigue stat there. What was that showing? Oh, I wish I knew what was causing that. Oh, there. It's showing fatigued here for some reason. So that's what fatigued would have been. Reduced max health removed at the end of the chapter. Oh, okay. So maybe that wouldn't have been so bad. If you have 4 fatigue, I imagine this goes down to 12. That's not so bad, but this is your main unit, so you got to be a little concerned. Let's go here and face this way. Okay, so we get that Lumi Dust. I don't know why it's showing fatigue. That could be a bug. And maybe I just Impale here. Impale seems really strong. I just kill this thing off. Creating some other tiles would be solid too. So I suppose I could do this. Because if I summon this in here, these guys are weaker, but they could come for me on the flank. I'm actually going to present this way. Okay. So now any attack coming in here, A, he's going to block and give damage back. So he'll actually end up killing them. And B, when they attack from these tiles, they're going to be extremely weak. So, sweet. I'm also going to look to do cultivation. And I'll just cultivate the areas around the spawners. It looks like they're coming in here next. And if you block all of these spawns, they'll just spawn behind you. But they will show you where the potential spawn points are. Since the spawns right in front are blocked, this is the only one. Okay. Okay. That's a wise move. It went for my hero unit, which is, I think, the correct play. I think that's the correct play. So now we're spawning in over here. It seems like if they're going to continuously play wild stalkers, it looks like that's what's happening, then they're always going to have hastened. And that double move is very powerful because it lets them get into flanked areas, which is solid. So I could use one to kill off this. I could use the impale to kill off here. And then that would be all of my Lumi. I could also just play this, attack here and attack here, or yeah, no, I do want to kill this off. So I could attack, dealing 2. We would take 2, or I can no, he's got that blocked. That's fine. So maybe that's what we'll do here, because I just want to conserve my my Lumi as much as I can, and then we'll kill this. Oh, that was actually a misplay. I totally could have just flanked there. I don't know what I was thinking. I could have flanked there and went for the kill. No problem. Totally talk about conserving my units. Oh, right. The reason we want to kill this is just for the bonus, which is kind of interesting, I guess. So maybe I could place a unit there that's far away. It looks like it went here, now here. I wonder if this means this is coming in next. Yeah, interesting. How do I want to do this? Let's just, wait, what's going to have my highest damage? Potentially this guy, right? This is also going to create a bunch of the, yeah. Okay, I'm actually going to do this to make these all green. Now, this should turn to purple because of the object. And then I'll also create one, let's say, here. Okay. So this comes in, this goes back to purple. Now he's going to spawn in 2 stalkers. Now I'm going to look at doing as much damage to this as I can. And if I bring in, yeah, so let's move up here. I'm going to pretty much ignore that unit and attack this for 4. Now it's going to have a regen of 1, so it's going to go back up to 5. Next turn I bring it down to 1, but we can kill it in like a couple of turns. I'll come here and we'll impale this guy. Okay. Now, I don't really want to play another unit so that this card can continuously stack up, especially here. We might actually be able to kill it next turn. Let's go ahead and create this. And you can't damage the burrows. That would be kind of cool. But no, not yet anyways. Okay. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is because of the spiky seeds, these enemies, if we don't do anything, they just take the 1 damage. So if I can get them down to 2, that's still... Or get them down to 1, they still die. So here, he regened up to 1. We're going to kill this now. Do I want to rotate first? Let's just kill it. Let's do that. Now, how do I want to do this? Even if he comes to the flank, I don't care. We're pretty strong. Deal 1 damage to enemy in its line of sight and create green under them, which these guys already are. I think we would just impale 1. Or, what if I did this? Come up here. Attack. It's going to take that 1. Now, this guy's going to go in this way. But what I can do is block that. Like this. Or I could block it here, too. right? If I put it here, this one's gonna die. And then this can block. That's fine. This guy's gonna go down to 1 because he's on the spiky seeds. And I'll create green here because this thing is not replenishing that anymore. So he moved. Wait, hold on. Enemies on green take 1 damage at the end of my turn. Wait, so did he not take that? Am I crazy? Am I crazy? I want to actually leave this guy alive here. So I'm going to do this. I want to see what happens with the spiky seeds. So in theory, he should die here at the end of my turn, right? I'm just going to leave this and see what happens. Yeah, okay, cool. So it did work. I don't know, maybe I misread that bottom one, but that's totally fine. Let's go here for the flank. We can finally pull that off. And now, like, once they're behind like this, they're pretty much toast, I think. At least seems that way. We'll create some more green here. Can't even do that. We'll line you up over here. Okay. Now, this card, remember, it's unstable, so we're getting near the end of our deck. After the burrows run out of enemies to summon, they'll activate the Silent Fog. Defeat all the remaining enemies quickly, or units become fatigued at the start of each enemy turn. There we go. Okay. Okay, okay. So you can use your shooting skill to decimate this one. And then you can just use this to decimate that one. Cool. Guys, this is great, and it's early. I'm very curious to see where this goes. I love the map, like the choices on the map, very Slay the Spire-esque. But combat-wise, it's kind of like the thing that comes to mind the most is something like Into the Breach, where it's this kind of like these mini battles. Sometimes hex-based battles can be a little bit weird because it's really hard to gain positioning, especially with these frontal arcs. But that's where things like hasten become really important. We haven't seen that on our own units, but we've seen it on the enemies. And there's a ton of variety in terms of different status effects, different bonuses, different upgrades, different units that we've seen. Like, we're only done basically 2 battles here, and I am heavily encouraged. Like, this is really neat. Here's another new one I haven't seen. Exposed. Receives more damage. Removed after taking damage. It's a spell. Consume a green tile under self to inflict exposure to a nearby unit, which means they're going to just take 3 extra damage. That's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. That's cool. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here at 6. I didn't expect that I would actually sit and play this for this long right now for this video, because we're getting kind of up there. But yeah, highly encourage you guys to check this out. Links are down below. I would consider playing more of this. If you guys want to see more, please let me know, and I will take that into consideration for sure. I'm going to be following this at its next major update, definitely. And I wish it the best of luck because it seems really cool. Like a great mix of certain games that we've seen, but also bringing a lot of its own unique elements. There's a cool upgrade system that's in place. Yeah. One thing that's yet to be seen is how that card destroying system or mechanic will come into play. So if you're playing something twice in a turn, it's gone till the end of your run. Like, that is, or twice in your battle. That's significant. Very, very interesting to see how that's going to impact the actual gameplay. Because for me, I'm just never going to want to do that unless I absolutely have to, you know. But we'll see. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.